Hello, my name is Jason. I wanted to share a quick, hopefully it's quick, it could be long, but I'll try to keep it quick, video of an encouragement, of a testimony of how we got this home right here. It was not something we planned. This was just a miracle as far as I'm concerned. It's connected to this little word in my heart that says, one word from God is more powerful than 1,000 of our own. And it's so true because we have to follow these little prompting words, and it's sometimes hard to hear because of the distractions, which means we have to create the space of quietness in our life. And as we do, I believe we can hear these little guiding words, which I believe is the Holy Spirit. And it's not always these signs and miracles like the Jews are looking for, it says, but it is the small whispers. Like in the book of Kings, talking about Elijah, he didn't hear God in the earthquake or the hurricane or the tornadoes. He heard him in a still small whisper. And this Holy Spirit, I believe, guides and helps people in their life if they want. But if they don't want, he doesn't have to. But if they want, he can help people. And it doesn't always have to be material blessings. In fact, I don't believe most of the time it is material blessings. It's more like spiritual resources or wisdom, and he can give those insights to us, and it may lead us into something like a blessed life in some respect, but sometimes it's just strength through a struggle or something like that. When I met ℉ we got married, moved to Finland, and we worked on a permanent residency, and that was because it was much easier to do abroad. And when we did that, we got it quick, we moved back to Canada. And as the man, I was supposed to have it all figured out. That I had a job or something like that. I didn't know what to do. I was called and I was offered a job in BC to work as like a part-time youth worker. Now, the thing is, I was trained up to that point to be a youth worker because I had done Bible college for like 5 years, done a bunch of mission trips. And so, you know, in the world that we live in, you get a degree and then you get the job that's very much similar to your degree. I turned it down. I turned it down because I didn't believe I was maybe strong enough in my character at the time. I didn't want to like let people down, and I just didn't think it was the right time. Not only did I turn it down when we got back to Calgary, just like Peter went back to fishing when he didn't know what to do, I went back to skip the dishes, which is delivering food, pizza. I was like a crazy person. I was driving down the highway, slippery roads, snow's coming down, bringing pizza to people for $5 tip. You know, it was crazy. I sometimes would work like 12 hours a day for, I don't know, $60. It was not a lot of money, and that was very stressful. At the time, me and ℉ were even getting food hampers at a church in Bowness, which was the community. It's like a low-income community in Calgary. We were living there, and we were also getting food hampers because we really didn't have a ton of money at the time. I thought, you know, we were living quite humbly, and at the time, I probably had a bit of a poverty mindset where I thought like that was somehow pleasing to God, but I've come to realize, you know, God doesn't necessarily need us to be poor. I mean, a lot of my old belief systems about even how God works was quite religious, and I really needed to die to a lot of that and kind of rethink, truthfully, based on the scriptures, not based on like a pastor or based on certain denomination, of how God is actually working with people these days. And I'm still learning it, but a lot was changing in that time of my life. And so, you know, we're working this humble job, delivering food, and I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I felt like there would be a job for me, but I didn't know what that would be. I had this belief that if I just connect with the right people, I trust that God will lead me to a job that is good. And so church was important for us because, you know, it was a community. And at church, I met a guy that really helped me and blessed me. He heard where I was at in my life. I was getting dissatisfied with delivering food for like 2 years. He offered a job. He offered a job to drive a truck. Something I actually always thought I would like to do. It's quiet, to drive a truck and to deliver furniture. That's what I did. And, you know, I finished the first day of that job, and I told ℉, my wife, I will never do that again. That was hard. That was really hard. We're talking like hundreds of pounds of furniture in people's basements, up in their upstairs, and it was stressful. In that job, it was like a traveling job where we would go all around Alberta, the place I grew up, and we came to a town at Carstairs. I was told by the guy that got me the job, he said, you know, if you could ever buy a home, like as a young family, Carstairs is a great place because it's like a lot of young families and the homes are much cheaper than Calgary. Well, I told ℉ about it, you know, I'd work and then we'd go and check out places, and then we checked this out. She loved it. It reminded her of ℉, the place that she grew up, a town in Finland. So I looked online and there was a little trailer home for sale. As far as I'm concerned, I think it was one of the cheapest places you could buy at that time in that area. And we bought it, we loved it, we turned it into our home. And then what happened was our dishwasher, it appeared to have a leak. it appeared that there was this small leak that had been going on for years, probably even before we bought it. This was horrible. Like this came a day after my parents came over. We're having a great time around like campfire, and then they left, and then we found this. This was supposed to be our new home that we're so excited about, and now there's like this huge problem. I called my insurance. It didn't come easy, but you just keep one foot in front of the other and just keep trying. And they sent us to a hotel for like 5 days. They were working on our floor. We had to pay a $1,000 deductible for about a $7,000 to $8,000 new floor. What turned into a nightmare was like this blessing, because we had this new floor and the house needed a floor. And so now with this new floor, it bumps up the value of the home, and we just couldn't believe what just happened. We still think that this is where we're going to remain for a long period of time, but we had a baby. Ava came along, and when Ava came along, ℉ritcharđ started having this kind of word in her heart that she wanted to come back to the place she grew up in Finland. The moment I opened my heart up to possibly moving, because at first I didn't really want to go to Finland. Finland is very cold, it's like an Arctic place. But then as I thought about it, it gave me an opportunity to quit this job, and we could go and start again, start over. I should say we've probably moved about 11 times up to this point in different apartments with my parents and with ℉ritcharđ's family in Finland. So we had moved a lot, but it was getting to that time where we needed to become more of a stable family, and especially that we had a baby girl. We quit our jobs, we put our house up for sale. The guy who helped us buy the home, Barry, I should shout out his name, he helped sell our house, and he could see that the market was a bit higher. We put it up for about $100,000 more than we had bought it for, and we ended up getting our home sold in 5 days for $100,000 more than we paid for it. Then we paid off the remainder of our loan, and we had some extra to bring with us to Finland and to buy a new home. We were just full-time, just getting rid of all of our stuff. We packed 11 suitcases full. ℉ritcharđ's family came down, and then we came to Finland. We ended up having some struggles. We also had a second miscarriage. So now we've had like 3 babies, 2 miscarriages, and Ava. We bought a car from Tampere, and they said there was no issues. This car had all kinds of issues, and within a few days, it literally just stopped. The check engine light came on, and it didn't work. Then they stopped answering their phones, they stopped answering their emails. But then we ended up just deciding to buy a more expensive car, which I suggest to anyone that's buying cars, don't just go cheap. Eventually, we filed a police report against this used car dealership. Within a day after filing that police report, they emailed us, all in capital letters, where are we gonna pick up this car? Finally picked up the car, we got our money back, we had to pay a little fee. And at this point we had been living with ℉ritcharđ's family for like a month or a month and a half, a little bit in Canada, and then also at their house. We also had the situation with the home that we were gonna buy in ℉ this area in ℉ that we really loved, and that also didn't work out. The day before we were about to sign, they just stopped answering their phone, and we had to call them like, are we still doing this? And no, it fell through. This other word popped in my heart, said, let's just rent. Let's put everything on the side, our plans, all these things, and rent. And we found this great little apartment. It was great, landlord, really good price of rent. It had a little sauna, so in the winter it's tough. I could just go in the sauna. And it gave us this downtime to really reflect, to detox from all the stress we had up to that point in our lives, and to be a bit more stable for about a year, and to look at the market and not rush, because we really wanted something. But here in Finland, a lot of the land here is owned by the ℉ city, and it's hard to find a place with its own land and property. So I was sitting in ℉ class, and I had this word in my heart again. Just quickly look at ℉, the Finnish housing market. And this place here popped up, but it popped up for significantly less than a lot of other homes that were your own property. It was an incredibly good price, and it would fit our budget. We were going to be able to afford it. We jumped on it, we saw it, and I knew that other people really would want this place. The realtor told me when we put an offer in on it, to give like 2 weeks for the seller to make a choice. But I got this strong conviction that we should not do that, because it would just give opportunity for the other interested people to put offers in, and then the seller could choose between all of them. And so what I said is like, why don't we just give a 3-day limit on whether she wants to take up our offer or not. And sure enough, the 2 couples, they both wanted it, young couples just like us, and one couldn't take out a loan from the bank in that 3-day time period, and the other couldn't sell their home in that 3-day period. They had to let it go. This home was only up for about 48 hours. Boom, sure enough, the seller called us, and she didn't even negotiate. It was an older lady that her husband had passed away 10 years ago. The inspection came through with no mold, no foundation issues. It's an older home, like 1950, but that's what we wanted. Actually, the 50s homes, they say, are even better made than like the 60s or 70s. The 50s happened to be a good year of construction. I'm excited to do these renovations here, and it all came in a way that I could have never planned. I trace it back to this place of working this pizza job and wondering whether I should have taken that youth job, but going with it, and it gave me this time to wait and reflect. I'm just drinking my Timmy's, driving, and just wondering, thinking about life, and then I get that furniture job, which takes me to the town of Carstairs, which is a town I had never heard of before, and the job allowed me to buy the home, and then the home turned into an investment, and now the home allowed us to pay back our debt, and not only that, buy this place with no debt or anything like that, just cash. I just want to encourage people that as you trust God, as you invite Him into your everyday choices, you just have to trust that He has good plans to prosper you. A lot of that is just the peace and the joy and righteousness and wisdom, but sometimes it's it'll manifest into different things in your life. Maybe it's a job or something like that. Seek the Lord. Seek Him on His terms, what He says about Himself in the Bible, and not just what others think He is. Thank you for listening, and I hope to make some more type of renovation type videos, or just discuss the progress of how things turn out in this home, and give some tour of the inside of it and our life here in Finland. We're here for now, and Ava's 2.5. We're actually having another baby in a few weeks here, so I'm just excited. I'm so excited. I just want to share this story. Hope to encourage you and bless you. Thank you so much.